Welcome everyone. Today I will be sharing an overview of MTSS RTI and how it's being implemented at FLVS Full-Time. You can see the breakdown of the team at FLVS Full-Time. We currently have an RTI specialist, 2 reading intervention instructors, and 2 math intervention instructors. RTI is not a program but a process, a way to identify who is at risk and, more importantly, why. What is RTI? Response to Intervention is a data-driven, multi-tiered approach to early identification and support of students with learning and behavioral needs. Here, Dr. Jan Hasbrook discusses RTI.
What is response to intervention, Jan?
Response to intervention, also known as RTI, is a process being used across the country these days at the state level and districts in order to provide optimal services for students. RTI is a process or a framework. It's not a curriculum or a program, so it looks different from state to state, district to district, sometimes school to school.
What are the goals of RTI?
We can conceptualize the goals of RTI differently for different ages of students occurring. For older students from grades 4 through 12, we have to think about it a little differently. There will, no matter how well we do our services in the early grades, for varieties of reasons, there will always be students who need some extra help. So we could conceptualize the goal for those older students as being rescue.
To better understand RTI, let's take a quick look back in time. In 2004, with the inception of the Individuals with Disabilities Act, Florida engaged in ongoing efforts to make sense of how to meet the needs of all students. Then, based on the expectations of No Child Left Behind and IDEA, in 2008, the Florida Department of Education published a state-level framework. This is where we are today. As you can see, RTI is an ongoing process and is changing and updated to meet the needs of students. RTI is thought of as a 3-tiered system of interventions. The first tier, Tier 1, which houses 80% or more of the students, is what we do for all students within our core classrooms. Tier 2, which houses 15% or less of our students, is what we do for some students who need additional supports to be successful in school or the community. An example of this is the small group content support offered for reading and math. Tier 3, which houses 5% or less of our students, is what we do for individual students who need specific supports to be successful in school or the community. These are small group and one-on-one targeted instruction. When students need additional supports beyond Tier 3, special education may be considered. This framework may be applied to academic, behavioral, or community needs. Starting out at problem identification, FLVS Full-Time encourages teachers to assist in identifying a possible problem and submit a help ticket or referral after strategies have been attempted in the classroom and the family agrees to seek out possible assistance. Parents can also refer their child for various services, including intervention. Once a student has been referred, the process moves to Step 2, problem analysis. In this step, the student support team meets virtually to review the referral or the problem, ask why students are not meeting academic goals, then develop next steps such as gathering data through universal screeners in math and reading. FLVS Full-Time uses iReady Diagnostic and Easy CBM for their screeners. All data is then reviewed with the entire team, teachers, intervention team, family, including the student. The family piece is crucial. These meetings take place either on conference call or in Blackboard Collaborate. Here's an example of an initial reading screener. As you can see, this 8th grade student scored 3 or more grade levels below in reading. Next is Step 3, Plan Development. In plan development, the team may implement an intervention plan if a student qualifies. Using the previous student, he was recommended and qualified for Tier 3 intervention. He will meet with his reading intervention instructor virtually twice a week for 30 minutes. Continuing with problem solving, we move to Step 4, Plan Implementation. In this step, the plan is put into action. Here's an example of a Tier 3 intervention small group who's meeting with their intervention instructor in Blackboard Collaborate. They are currently working on theme, reading aloud, and main idea. All intervention plans are progress monitored to evaluate the effectiveness of the plans based on the student's response to intervention. Different types of data are collected at each level to better understand the students. Problem solving happens all along to ensure we know the best ways to work with this group of students or this individual student. Step 5 is plan evaluation. At the end of the predetermined time of each goal, the entire team comes together again in Blackboard Collaborate or in conference call to review and evaluate the current plan. This is an example of a plan evaluation. Here are two end of phase graphs. These show the progress the student made during phase 1. With support and intervention, he moved up 2 grade levels. He is no longer eligible for Tier 3 support, and he will be moved and recommended for Tier 2 interventions.
I really appreciate the RTI math and reading sessions with Ms. Causadill and Ms. Fawcett. These sessions have truly made an impact on my son's education. The small groups really help him to succeed in his classwork. I really appreciate the time taken out to work with each child individually, as well as my son. The sessions have really made a great impact on my son's education. Thank you very much.